Hey everybody, a little something different today. We're going to go back and we're going to read a piece of writing that I did when I was in my early 30s. I'm 50 now, about how to make a living, sort of, playing music. Now I know the majority of you guys just want to play harmonica and are smart enough and intelligent enough to not want to try to make a living at this. And this doesn't just go for harmonica players, so maybe a larger audience will tune in, or maybe this video will get shared to some up-and-coming artists. Well, the reason I'm doing this video and just reading the piece is, well, first of all, it's very old. It's like almost 20 years old or something, so I'm sure there's a lot of updates that could be made to this. The other reason I'm reading it is, I don't know about you guys, and I'm not proud of this, but I don't read a lot anymore. I watch a lot of information and hear a lot of information. So it might be good to have this where also you can hear my voice and where I can interrupt myself and say, hey, look, I don't think that way anymore, or this is exactly still true today, or here's an addendum, right, to that. All right, now the video is not going to be edited here. I'm just going to go. We're listening to Joey DeFrancesco in the background, live from 2011. Got this off of archive.org. Great music site, great place to hear concerts, from back in the day. Let's dig right in and read it. The piece is titled Stay in College. All right, going to need the readers. Here we go. Subtitled, A Brief Guide to Proactive Mid-Level Success in the Music Business for Most Bands by Jason Ricci. Here we go. I informed harmonica legend Mark Hummel 15 years ago that I was intending on quitting college and trying to be a professional harmonica player. After I told him the news, I asked him rather pretentiously, as only a pot-smoking, long-haired 18-year-old can, how do I get where you're at? I wasn't asking about his harp playing. I was asking about the business. He looked down at me and in sort of a concerned, sympathetic, maybe even sad way said, stay in college. It wasn't the answer I wanted at all, but it was the right one. Because in short, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it. If not, you won't. It's very simple, really. People like to complicate it, especially me. And that's what this whole article is about, sort of. So when Mark said to me, stay in college, he really just gave me the best, safest, and shortest answer for me to later ignore if I should choose to do so, and I did. In parentheses, at my own peril. This is my answer to that same question. Please keep in mind that throughout this written, lengthy, complex formula for musical success, all I'm really saying is stay in college. And all these years later, I will agree with that. Stay in college. Let's go further. Let me see if I can make this print a little bigger. All right, that might help. Okay. All right. Then it says, I know a lot of players more musically talented than myself who have failed or are failing at making a living playing music, while I enjoy the fruits of some form of success. Likewise, everyone knows all the pop stars they love to hate, right? It's Taylor Swift these days, that don't deserve their sudden commercial success and wonder how they could do so well while so much raw talent goes unnoticed. Everywhere you go, you hear stories about the guy in town who plays just like Eric Clapton, or the woman who is a combination of Janis and Bonnie Raitt. Usually they're between 30 to 50 years old. Often and more lately, it's the prodigy, virtuoso 9-year-old who's better than Stevie Ray Vaughan. All these characteristics haunt every city our band travels to, and all these enigmas, for whatever reason, never got that big break that they so deserve. Some of the audience members talk about these people or bands as if they've already died, with this sad reverence and tragic mystique. The musician band in question is almost never there. we're told, because they're so fed up with the business that they stay home most of the time and never come out to see other bands. But when they do, watch out, because they'll blow you off the stage. There are actually those who never got their due, for good reason. Sometimes it has to do with their art/music being too ahead of the time, or their audience too small, but often it has to do with drugs, booze, a problematic personality, a romantically involved woman or man, or most often a general or genuine problem with laziness and complacency. Whoa, Jason, going for it. Contrary to popular belief, this business is not money for nothing and chicks for free. It's not. It's a lot of hard work. Most of those musicians who don't totally suck, and some who do, will actually succeed on some level in the music business for some time if they really want it and are willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve that success. The truth is, most are not willing to give up the comforts of home, the comforts of being able to pay for a home. Many will not give up their drugs and booze for their music. They simply love the drugs more, whether they admit this to themselves or not. Many will not end a marriage that challenges or threatens their dream. Many will enter into relationships that do just that while they are just starting to achieve success. Those who really want to make it will not need to read this, but will read it anyway. But they will succeed with or without this or any other tutorial. Those who will fail in this business will read this and still fail at a career in music. Then they and their friends will place blame all over the musical map for this. Jealousy, anger, doubt, and fear will infect their lives and the lives of those around them, unless they are that one rare, misunderstood genius, or are truly mentally or physically ill, or taking care of someone who is all of the above. No one should have anyone to blame other than themselves. Okay. So what I'm saying there is there are some real reasons. If real mental illness, real physical disability, someone in your life that needs help, right? Absolutely. Joey D. All right, let's get back. Sadly, sometime in the early 80s or sooner, the big record label's formula of the built-in booking agency, manager, publicist, and artist development team became less than profitable and started adapting to the times. Bastards. Gone are the days of record company dispatched talent scouts who traversed the small coffee shops and bars of America in search of the eccentric but poignant heroin-addicted, unknown lyricist, whatever, who with some grooming, ear training, management, methadone, the right band, and most importantly, money, maybe, might possibly, perhaps, could turn a profit for the label after a few albums aimed at the right demographic, while in the meantime, for the sake of art or, of course, they perform real music at a profit loss for the record label. Wow. Can we blame them? Can we blame the record label for not doing that anymore? The music business is a business, just like a roofing company or a golf course. Would you hire a person like the guy described above to work for you? There are some very effed up things about the music business that I can't change, but I can change how I approach them, because that is all I can do. This piece of writing is an attempt of mine to share with you all, especially the musicians amongst you, what I have learned along the way. I'm, as you probably know, not a big star or a millionaire, but I do own my own home, not anymore. Van, I still got one of those. Tour all over the world, not as much, but still. Wait, here we go. Have a record deal. Yep, I got a good one right now. A booking agency, got a good one there. Some PR people, I had one. And pay my 3 band members a weekly salary that hopefully soon will increase. Well, I don't pay them by the week anymore. I pay them by the, I pay them by the week when we're out. In short, I make my living playing music. harmonica, no less, while simultaneously advancing my name/career, hopefully ensuring a somewhat stable future. Well, that didn't come true. And why? My fault. My fault. I'll get to that. Am I lucky? Yes. Did I ever meet a talent scout? Nope. No one ever handed me anything, not a single gig. I had to work to get every harmonica lick, lyric, band member, gig, booking agent, manager, publicist, record label, and the band, and I ever had or didn't, right, or something like that. Anyway, I've been after this business full time for 15 years now, mostly very seriously. Very seriously. I have been playing for 20 years. My buddy Dan Gage says, an old friend, it's not years, it's hours. That's true for everything. I have made a lot of mistakes and have coveted some piss-poor attitudes and belief system based in fear and jealousy along the way. And I'm here to tell you how I did it. I don't have all the answers, and much of the business really is who you know and being in the right place at the right time. But I hate to burst the bong bubbles of all you local guitar/harmonica champs sitting at home on Saturday watching Stevie Ray or Kim Wilson on Austin City Limits, but unfortunately, and fortunately, depending upon your outlook, most of this business is just plain hard work. So in a way, that's refreshing, isn't it? Because what it tells you is that if you do A, B, and C, that you're likely to get if you do A and B, you're likely to get to C. If you do A, B, and C, you're likely to get to D. Okay. I'm going to interrupt the reading right now to tell you why I wrote this. And this isn't going to be easy to tell you. Because I don't wish to speak ill of one of my heroes and one of the most important people in my life who's no longer with us. But the inspiration for this article came from a conversation with Pat Ramsey. Now, Pat, as you guys know, if you look at my videos, if you search my name and Pat Ramsey's name, you'll see not only videos of Pat and I playing together, but you'll see a lot of videos that I've done talking about Pat's music and how he played harmonica and telling stories about Pat. All that right here. And I've never said anything ever in public about why that relationship got a little hard at the end. So I'm going to talk to you about that right now. And it's the reason that this article got written back then, because I was in a lot of pain after this conversation. So what had happened was, towards the end of his life, about maybe 5, 6, 7 years tops before Pat passed away, he had been sober for many years, and he had a back issue, and he started taking pain pills, and that led to other stuff. And ultimately, near the last year of his life, he, or a little before that, he started drinking again, and probably some other stuff. During that 5-year period, Pat's attitude changed dramatically. Pat was one of the, he was always pessimistic and funny, and he used to say all kinds of stuff like, well, kid, I've been fucked in this business so many times, you could shove a 2-liter bottle of Coke up my ass and I wouldn't even feel it. Like they used to say stuff like that. He used to say, this is the only business I know where hard work, raw talent, and perseverance guarantee you absolutely nothing, So a lot of what I'm saying in here goes against some of those jokes that Pat made. But they were, at one time, just jokes. And later in life, they became real things that he thought. And he was hard to be around. Because of the work that I did to get the band off the ground, and, I'm talking about mailing packages, I'm talking about going and playing clubs at a loss in different states to get my name out there. talking about contacting record labels over and over and over again, not taking no for an answer, calling booking agents, not taking no for an answer, getting knocked down time after time after time and going back. I had reached a level of success, and Pat was angry at me. And he said, or jealous of me, he said, so kid, you can't sing your way out of a paper bag, but you stole all my licks, and how come you're playing all over the world, but I'm not? And I said, there was nothing to say. There was nothing to say back because it's work. So I had tried, Pat wanted to get on the record label that I was on called Delta Groove. And so I called Delta Groove and I told them, hey, listen, this guy, you think I'm good? This guy can sing better than me, can play better than me. That's where I got all my licks. You should really sign this guy. And Delta Groove said, we'd love to. His music's great, but he's not touring. He's not touring nearly enough, and not west of the Mississippi. We can't sell any records, right? So we can't just sign him to our business just because we like him. We need him to make us money. Now, I already knew that was the answer, right? But I continued, and I said, listen, I understand that. I said, but look, I'm going to be pushing Pat. People are going to buy this stuff just because I'm out there talking about him. And I said, listen, they said, well, okay, look, have him send us the record. So I called Pat back, and I said, hey, listen, I talked to Delta Groove Records. And I said, and they want to hear the record, and they're willing to talk to you. Now, they were not at all willing to do this before I intervened. And so, I don't know, a few months later, Pat called me up, kind of like the last conversation, complaining, geez, man, how come I can't get into that club? And, how come, I saw your record's like #1 on the Billboard or whatever. And I said, well, Pat, did you send Delta Groove the record? Your record? I told them that to look out for it. They told me they wanted to hear it. And he said, oh, no, man, fuck that. They're never going to. He never sent it. Okay, so, look, it's more than just not ever sending it. Not only do you have to send it, but you got to send it 5 or 6 times. And you can't get mad when they say we didn't get it and they got it. You just got to keep going. You got to keep trying. And that's why I wrote this article. I wrote this article to process what's going on here. Now, look, I'm a lot older now, and there's going to be some stuff in here I'm going to not agree with anymore. Let's find out. All right. Before we go much further, I should make a list of things you should not do if you want to be taken seriously by the industry for the length of a John Popper harmonica riff. In other words, quick. This, in some cases, will include a very important and intimidating word. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. I've talked to you guys in YouTube videos just about harmonica. Look, nothing good comes without giving something else up. You don't go someplace without leaving another place. That's how it works. Number one, don't become addicted to or do any hard drugs. Or maybe, if you're the band leader, any drugs. Nobody, not a booking agent, not a club, not a record company, wants the liability of you not showing up, not being able to perform, being difficult, or much more, dying on their hands. The 60s and 70s are gone. Very rarely does anyone in our industry knowingly invest in addicts or alcoholics anymore. It's not wise for them, no matter how good you play, sing, write. Those days are gone. They're gone. If Janis Joplin or Jimi Hendrix were just breaking the scene here in 2007, that's when this was written, they probably wouldn't get signed just based on their substance abuse. This goes obviously much further than your potential investors. You will not be capable, I know firsthand, of expending the necessary time, energy, and sober thought into your career if you are inebriated, trying to score all the time, going to jail, dope sick, hungover, or even just smoking weed. That's not in there. Just smoking weed all day and not being focused, right? And there's nothing wrong with weed. There's nothing wrong with alcohol. There's nothing wrong with really any of it, okay? But, It's dangerous. Even the stuff that doesn't kill you can numb you, right, forever. If you can do it, a little bit, good for you, right? But some of us can't. Doesn't have anything to do with discipline either. It's something genetic. All right. Most rock stars these days, and some of the old that die of addiction-related causes, develop their addictions after they had won/earned their place already. If you think this might be your problem, get help. I did. I ended up doing a year in jail for over all that stuff. Music is the least of your problems if you're hooked on anything serious. I'm now 9 years clean and sober, and my life is great. So that was in 2007. In 2010, I relapsed. I got sick of all of the hard work. I got sick. I made these goals, this music thing, this career in music. I made that God. It's what I thought about most. So that was God. And the funny thing is when I kind of got everything that I wanted out of this, right? When I kind of got that festival slot and the record label and all that, and I guess I wanted more of it, or I thought it would be better than it was. And I ended up having an existential crisis, which was, at the time, very clear to me that the answer for me personally, was seeking God. I was not willing to do that at the time. It would take 9 years after that. I am now only 4 years sober. I'll be 5 in September 20th, God willing. But life today is very different. Music, my career, my job, awards, accolades, the house, the car, the van, the booking agent, the record label, those are not things that I place ultimate value on. They're valuable to me, but they're not things I place ultimate value on. My ultimate value is determined by my relationship with the world and how kind and compassionate I am capable of being. And that is the hardest work of all. All right. Number 2, don't be an asshole. Don't tell clubs, festivals, labels, managers, or anyone you're better than their favorite or best-selling acts, or even that you don't like them. Okay, let me jump in. I wrote that for Pat. Pat called up Intrepid Artists and said, I'm better than, most of your roster. Well, that's a great way of telling them that their roster sucks and that they don't know what they're doing. Nobody likes that. I know that because I was on that agency at the time, and I tried to get Pat on it. And that's what they told me. They're like, we're not going to deal with that guy. Don't threaten people or give ultimatums. Don't lie about how many people you can put in the club if you can't. I had a guy in the band that used to help me book gigs, and he used to do that. Oh, we'll pack the place. And I'm, don't tell booking, or where is it? Don't be competitive with other bands. That's good. Don't pester people. However, do be persistent. Don't name drop too much, especially if you don't really know that person all that well or at all. Just be nice and honest. You catch more bees with honey. That's a big one. That don't be an asshole part is big. I know a long list of really, really good musicians that are kind of, dicks. Nobody wants to deal with them, right? Oh, boy. All right, here we go. Next, this one's heavy duty. I don't know if I agree with this one or not. Keep reading it. Do not marry young or marry someone who does not want you to play music for a living. Okay. If you do, and you want a career in music more than a husband or wife, get a divorce so you don't hate them forever and blame them for your failures/lost dreams. Leaving home a lot is a big part of this job, especially for the first 5 years maybe, or the rest of your life. Now, I think that's changed a little. The internet has made it possible for people to make a living online. But I do believe there's no way to garner fans like going out and getting them. Getting in a van, getting on a plane, getting on a bus, getting on a train, getting on a boat, going there, playing live. Still relevant to this day. I don't know if it's as relevant as it was when this was written, but it's still important. All right. Yeah. Leaving home a lot is a big part of this job, especially the first 5 years, maybe rest of your life. Not making much money is to be expected in most cases. Operating at a loss is par for the course as well. Do you have someone in your life that will support your dreams of becoming a star on some level while you are away 319 days a year and making very little, sometimes losing money? I do. His name is Brady. That was my ex-boyfriend. I'm lucky, but if Brady weren't here, I would have done it alone because I want this no matter what. I thank God and him and here for his support along the way. Music as a career hasn't been easy for Brady and I, or almost any couple we know. Most full-time musicians rack up past marriages like booking agencies and ex-drummers. It's a constant game of give and take. Sacrifice music for love, sacrifice love for music. It helps if the one you love / marry has their own dream to keep them occupied while you're gone, which naturally comes with experiences of their own, so they can empathize with you and your plight and motives. Also, don't have kids if you can't afford them on a musician's salary. If you already have them, love them, stay home more, and consider waiting till they're grown for your career in music. Heavy duty. Sacrifices. I mean, I did that. There's people that, just weren't right for me. I wasn't right for them. I liked them, but don't expect your friends that have made it to help you to the top. Boom. Here's another one I wrote at Pat. It hurts to even say that right now. It's impossible for them on more levels than they probably have time to tell you about. Well, I'm telling you about it right now. I'm the one telling you about it. Once you take your own steps out the door, you'll start to understand why. If I write this clearly enough, by the time you're done reading this, you'll realize a little more as well. It is good to know people and have famous friends, but it is hardly a ticket to the top of any genre of music. I can put in all the good words in the world to my record company for my friends. But if they're not touring, selling records, and generally being proactive in their own careers, it will mean nothing and could even hurt me for giving the recommendation, right? If I'm just helping somebody lose money, I'm not an asset to that company. I have to think like they do. I don't like it. Sure, I wish just talented people could just be put out there and everybody could position them and help them out and send them to rehab and keep them clean and sober and tell them, hey, look, this girl's not any good for you, this guy's not any good for you, and you need to get out of that relationship. Let's pay for some therapy and help you figure it out. What is it that you really want to do? Is music what you really want to do? If so, let's talk about it. It's a lot. It's a lot. I got tons of famous friends. I've never asked them for anything. Never. I've never ever bothered to do that. It's like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the teacher is ready, the student will appear. Both of those things. Below are some additional excuses. I like this part. The band and I hear frequently from musicians and their friends and family. If you continue reading, I will later dismiss these excuses or solve most of these. Some of these may be valid, but again fall under the heading of sacrifice. Again, there's a word. And/or how badly you want this. Number 1, my band members all have regular jobs or won't leave town. Solution later. Number 2, my wife/husband, boy, girlfriend won't let me. I solved that earlier. The club won't pay me enough to leave town. I can make more at home. Solution later. I just need a decent recording first. You might not, unless you really suck. Musicians are often perfectionists who will split hairs over a recording or a tune for years or more until it's entirely outdated and antiquated. I've seen a lot of people do that. Just, what's it called? Paralysis by analysis. I've seen YouTubers, just people who want to be YouTubers. The people who want to make videos like I do, and they can't make the video because they need the perfect mic, the perfect camera, the perfect angle. They need 2 camera angles. They need all this. They don't, you just got to do it. Number 4, gas prices are too high. Well, this was in 2007. Look at it now. They can be. Tough it out till it does not matter, or till it gets worse. Make more money so you can pay for them. All right. I need to move to the right city. Where do I move? Okay, this is a big one. I hear this one a lot. This is mostly a myth. It just helps if you don't live in some state where you have to drive through the same towns every time you leave in order to get anywhere, such as any peninsula like Florida or Maine. Yet, I know a ton of musicians from Florida that are doing it, okay? The Northwest can be tough as well, right? Because you got all that desert out there. The more directions you can go when you leave town, the more easy and profitable your future touring will be, because you won't have to skip over markets that just booked you last week or last month and can't have you back just so soon. It can be a plus to live somewhere like LA, New York, or any big city, as there are often more players to choose from, but it's not necessary. There are amazing players everywhere. You may be one. In big cities, local gigs are harder to get and pay less. That's the truth. Especially the good ones. If you plan your tours right, you can have 4 or more players in your band from all over the country. They don't even have to live near you. There is no city where a self-supporting great blues scene or a great punk scene will have you, or what have you, make it happen on the road. That's what the labels want, and what you'll probably have to do at some time to make a name for yourself, or the possibility of any steady growing amount of money. Here's another one. This one's true right now. Okay, it's a good excuse right now. There's not enough clubs. This was in 2007. Well, now there's like even less, like way less. I would say 80% less. 80% less. Let's read. So far, there is, for most of us, driven enough to drive. Get creative. Look at those touring guides. Steal gigs and tour ideas off of other people's websites. That's right. Call and ask around. Stop complaining. Just get on the road. After a few trips, you'll get some new gigs and some private parties as well. If you're going to be off a night, anyway, open for another band, play somewhere that's never had a band before for less money than usual, or the door. Sad but true, in my experience, is what it takes the first year out or more. It's hard, and it may break you, your band, and your bank account a few times more before success. Eventually, you will have to stop selling yourself short. You will know when this time is upon you, because you will be able to get the prices in clubs you want in many cases without asking. Or you will have to ask. I think you have to ask, right? I'm going to make an addendum to that. You need to value yourself, or nobody else will value you. Mem Shannon wrote that to me today in a message. Mem Shannon, the great blues guitar player. Here's number 7. The excuse number 7, I'm too old. This may apply in the pop world, but most other genres, rock included, don't weigh as heavily on an artist's age or image as you may think. I can name a few, but let's not. It helps in any genre of music to look good. Make the most of what you have to separate yourself from your audience. You don't have to be fancy, punk, slick, or sexy, but it helps to be memorable and have a presence. Do it your own way. Get jiggy with it. That's what my daddy told me. Get jiggy with it. Excuse number 8, I don't have a van. This is a legit but temporary problem. You will have to find a way to get one, or at least a good SUV with a trailer. Excuse number 9, I don't have a booking agency/agent. You don't need one, and probably won't get one until you're proven your profitability, reliability, and rockability first on your own. Read on. Much, much more coming on this. There's going to be a lot. Number 10, excuse number 10, I need a record deal. I need a record deal first. Record deals these days, even on a major label, could mean nothing. This was in 2007. Boy, now they mean even less. They don't generally do whatever you're thinking they do for you. From fame and fortune to just simply gigs a lot. Most all this shit is up to you. Of course, a deal can help tons. It has and will for us. It did. But I also never got any money from them. I don't have enough money to sue them, But anyway, of course the deal but have you done all you can while waiting for your contract to be faxed? The more I practice, the luckier I get is the sign on that wall. The sign on this wall says 5 minutes. Have I done all I can while waiting for the next thing to happen? No, I haven't. And I'm doing everything I can. And it's not enough. It's not enough. I'm still distracted by cigars and Kate and TV and dumb stuff I don't even talk about. Not drugs anymore, thank God. But other things. Have I done everything I can while I'm waiting for my contract, metaphorical contract to be faxed? No. And I do a lot. Excuse number 11, the sideman complaint is what it's called. No one will hire me to go on tour. Here's your game plan. Go to jams, make business cards, keep practicing, try to sit in with well-known bands without being too pushy, check the papers, the internet, email bands, get a demo, CD together, stay in touch with the industry, who's quitting, who got fired, call, mail, and email labels, booking agencies, and management companies, and let them know you're available if a band needs someone. Learn to sing in front of band and start your own band if you're tired of waiting to get a job. Boom. Boom. 2007, I was pretty smart in my damn 30s. Too bad I didn't listen to all my own advice, all right? Number 12, I have a mental illness or physical disability. This is a legitimate reason. This is a legitimate reason I know for blaming your musical failure. 100%. This is truly tragic and often very, very sad and painful to watch. For somebody who got cancer. Cancer, right? For the actual person, it must be unbearable. Ironically, many of these folks have great attitudes and find something else fulfilling to do with their lives for pleasure and money while still playing out on weekends and actually really do blow away many of the national acts. I have met a few beautiful musicians incapacitated and unable to tour because of mental or physical illness, and my heart goes out to them. So the reason that Brady, my boyfriend that I mentioned before, left me was over this bipolar disorder, right? And I'm not blaming my relapse or anything on my mental illness, because had I addressed that at the time, fearlessly, had I addressed my alcoholism and addiction, even though I was 9 years sober, had I looked at what were my values in life, was I using a career in music like drugs and alcohol? Because that's what I did. I used this career to define who I was as a person. So when the career was doing great, I felt great. When the career was doing bad, I felt terrible. That is a dangerous road. And it's not only is it dangerous to do that with a career, any job, but it's also dangerous to do that with a person. It's really dangerous to do it with drugs and alcohol. And the reason that it's dangerous with all these things is because people, places, and things will fail us. They will fail us. This is why I believe in something greater. It's all I got left. And funny enough, Leonard Cohen said, and only drowning men will see him. Talking about God, right? I had to get to the point where I was drowning before I was willing to try to really believe. Like I said, that took 9 years after 2010, September 20th, 2019. Number 13, excuse number 13, I have kids. Another valid and legit reason to put your music career on the back burner for a while, or at least get advice outside this forum. If you don't have a double income household with one parent that can spend time with the kids, just wait. Perfect your craft in the meantime and pursue something more stable than a music career, 100%. One of the most intelligent and talented performers and people I know is doing just this now. Her name is Gina Fox. And she's not only smart and talented, but wise and loving enough to care for her child and accept with dignity, responsibility, and grace her former decision to have him. She would probably be a star now had it turned out different, but I have no doubt she'll be rocking in 2 years when he turns 18. The kid's cool too, because his mom knows what's up. Go Mike. That was the name of the kid. Gina didn't end up doing this, but she is a pretty famous hairdresser. She's just, anyway, I think she's very happy. I should reach out to her. Nobody wants you until you don't need them. All right, I got to take a break right now, guys. I got to teach a lesson. I'll be back in an hour or so to get through the rest of this. I'm not even sure we're halfway through. So, yeah. If you don't care about any of this stuff, tune out, because it's going to get, there's going to be more and more sacrifice. It's going to get more and more hardcore when I come back. It's going to get more heated, more angry, more pointed, more real. Stay tuned for the real talk. I'll be right back.